Hey there, everybody. It's Dave here. We are approaching the 2-minute. We are at the 2-minute warning. How about that? Now, if I can find a button. Welcome to Vikings First and SKOL's live 2-minute warning. Next. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the live at the 2-minute warning show. We are at the 2-minute warning, and the Vikings have the ball. Can they bring this back to at least tie it? If not, go ahead. That is the question of the day. It's going to be interesting. Hello, Dino. Yes. Hopefully not top 10, but we'll see. All right. There's a lot of football left in the game. And there's all learning. Yes. Might be one of those seasons. Yes. Peter. It could be. And the best thing is Cleveland beat the Packers. Yes, of course, that anybody beating the Packers is a great thing. Always. Hello, Chevy. Oh, what a game. What a game. Hey there, Chuck. How are you doing today? Let me close some of these windows real quick. Just killer. This team makes me drink, and people wonder why, but it does. It is. Chuck standing in a salmon river listening. Let's do this. Hey, Chuck, I wish you luck. I hope you catch tons of fish in the process. I'm assuming you're fly fishing, which is cool, or using an ultralight. I've done that with trout in a river. T-Bass, coaching around the NFL is generally brutal anymore. All-time low. What was Cleveland doing that last possession? Not that I'm complaining. It was a good thing for the Vikings. Yes, you are correct, T-Bass. As usual. All right. On the TV, they've come about a 2-minute warning. Ready to get going. All right. The only thing we still have a chance is 2 minutes left. Yes. Chuck says, yeehaw. Yes, fly fishing. God, so relaxing. Absolutely so relaxing. All right. Wentz drops back, throws to Hawkinson, who gets over to 50 to the 47. Yes. Doc Proto, beer 3 before 10. Hate the European games. Oh, I poured a 4-finger, and I'm down to about 2.5 right now. All right, here we go. Wentz drops back, throws it to Jefferson for the completion. Woohoo! Vikes are driving. Yes. Yes. Nice catch by Justin Jefferson. He's had a hell of a game. Heck of a game. Yes, he has. And the Brownies call timeout. Minute 10 left. Vikings have the ball on the Browns 27. Two tones. I don't want to tie. I want to win. Yes, I agree. I don't know how we do in the overtime. What do you think of Christian Darrisaw being on a pitch count and being out? Just out of curiosity. T-Bass, other than some holding calls, not one complaint so far about the offensive line. No, I agree. They've done relatively well. I've kept an eyeball on Brandell. He's done extremely well, other than that tacky holding call. School has been brutal, though. Absolutely brutal, but anyways. Doc even loves fly fishing. Cool. I fished with flies in the ultralight in the Chama River in Chama, New Mexico for trout. And it was wonderful. About knee deep. T-Bass. Really back in the day, if I was out there, Jefferson's chain would have been ripped off. It's such a horrible look. Hey, we're old, T-Bass. We're old. Two-tone, please, God, let the Vikings get a touchdown. There's a good catch by Naylor and way to get out of bounds. All right. Wentz back, throws to Mason. Mason gets 3 and goes out of bounds. All right, 57 seconds left. 3rd and 3. We will see how this goes. But fishing in the Chama River knee deep with ultralight with a fly on it. I catch trout, and there's a golden eagle on a stump on the other side of the river that looked at me and go, "You catching me dinner?" It's the biggest eagle I'd ever seen. Raymond, come on, boys, get it done. Yes, Raymond, I agree with you. Get it done. We shall see. We shall see. 3rd and 3. Okay. Well, they stopped the clock. They should stop the clock. He went out of bounds. Well, now they're reviewing it. Let's see. Tackle. He didn't touch. He's out of bounds. That knee didn't touch. Bullshit. Oh, bullshit. 100% bullshit. They're saying that after the review, his knee was on the ground. But where his knee goes on, the ball's already over the sideline. We're getting official shaft. Nope. Do the Vikings want to stay in bounds, take time off the clock? That's a good question, Nick. 59 seconds left. They could very easily. But the first thing is don't lose the ball, don't commit penalties, and get a first down. All right, here we go. Wentz behind center, drops back, throws it out to, who was it? Jordan Addison, the delinquent one, catches the first down. But he stopped in bounds, and yet they stopped the clock. What the heck? This is weird. All right. Here we go. Timeout by Cleveland. All right. 54 seconds left. Vikings have the ball. We'll see how this rolls. Boy, did we say this was going to be a close game, and we were right. Absolutely right. All right. Now, come on, Wentz. Pull this out. Did anybody notice on the pregame they showed Wentz warming up, and he kept lifting his left shoulder? And then what did he go out right before half with the left shoulder? Probably got shot up. All right, we got Jordan Addison catches the screen, gets out about 7 yards. All right. Nick says he wouldn't want the Browns to have an opportunity to get a field goal to tie. Yes. All right. Let's go. Let's get this touchdown. Wentz back from shotgun. 2 steps. Back to Addison. Touchdown, Minnesota. Jordan Addison at the goal line. Simple fade, simple pitch and catch. We love it. Gotta love it. Jordan Addison, that will help soothe some coaching nerves. All right. So the Vikings now lead. As of now, 20-17. Let's get, yes, SKOL Kevin. Will the Thrill comes in for the extra point. Kicks up, kicks good. Vikings lead by 4, 21-17 with 25 seconds left in the game. Oh, gotta love it when the Vikings come back to win. Not that they haven't yet. We gotta hold on for 25 seconds, but we shall see. Chevy says he'll drink to that. So will I, buddy. So will I. All right. Let's go. Yes. Doc, let's effing go. You got that right. All right, here we go. Oh, I got to get out the links. So at least I get Darren joining me. When the time comes, and Tyler, of course. The Browns' inexperienced QB cost the team a victory. Vikings win, but definitely benefit for Gabriel. Yes, it was. I thought Gabriel had a decent game for a rookie. Without a doubt, I thought he had a good game. And I'll take it. So, hey, it is what it is. All right, the kick. And it's returned, let's see, to 20. To the 29, 30-yard line is where it was brought back down. All right. I need to get. So, great throw. Denzel was clueless in coverage on the end. Well, hey, it is what it is. You can't be perfect playing football. I wish you could. But I haven't seen anybody. All right. Kwesi needs to get on the phone. A true nose tackle. Why wasn't Taki Taimani brought up? I was wondering. Forlorn hope. Cheers, buddy. Cheers. It's a good question. Thank you, Carson Wentz. There were plays you could have easily slid and took the way out. Show your teammate but you took the hit and show the team that you did not take the easy way out. Yes, he did. I agree. Gabriel bombs it. Hail Mary, picked off. Is there a flag? No flag. Vikings win. Your Minnesota Vikings win in a fourth quarter comeback with a final score of 21-17 over the Cleveland Browns and advanced to 3-2. Hold on. The refs are doing something, calling a flag or a penalty on the Vikings. What is this? Nobody sees a flag. Oh, what? All right, so we get to do it all over again. Well, phooey. Nick, I hope so. Yes. KOC called a timeout. Oh, no. All right, well, we get a do-over. 7 seconds back on the clock. It's 2nd and 10. We're going to see pretty much the same play. We'll see how it goes. Say what you will about the run defense, but holding them to 17, 2 turnovers was pretty good. Yes, we are back on the turnover deal. And tackled inbounds. Clock runs out. Again, your Vikings win. Final score is 21-17. Even with that extra play. And the Vikings improved to 5-0 in London. How about that? Oh, well. Now, Here we go. KOC. Come on, KOC. They did it. They did it. They won. Vikings are 3-2, still in the hunt. Doc says totally worth this incoming hangover. Yes. Except for when I get early drunk, I blow through the hangover rather quickly. Brian says, SKOL, KOC, Zimmer, both are poor game management. Most coaches are. Harpering, that was ugly. Hey, ugly, is what it is, but it's a win, and a win's a win. So, great win. Catch you all tomorrow. See you, Chuck. If you're departing, you go catch some fish. Enjoy yourself. All right. Vikings still struggling to stop the run. Yes, they have. And it's a heartburn, especially when we got teams that we know can run the ball coming up, like the Philadelphia Eagles, for one. And in our own division, the Detroit Lions for another. All right. Feel good vibes all week off of football. Yes, going into the bye on a win is much, much better. Cause and effect agrees with me. Winning is good. Ugly winning is good. Any winning is good. 6-shooter nation gaming, game management, the last game would you have called a timeout at the end of the game? That was pretty scary. Bad play calling. Question, why did Ederson start the game? What did he do so stupid? He obviously got in trouble for something. It's not been publicized what it was. So, and since it's not been publicized, no comment. But it was obviously something stupid. And, the whole idea is he matured. Well, if he matured, why did he do something stupid? Cleveland was dinking and dunking on us the whole game. We turned it around on them and beat them at their own game. Yes. Oh, I thought taking the first drive, we were doing quick shorts, screens and quick shorts, and we drove down all the way up until the fumble. But, yes. Skywalking McCarthy. The hopium in this chat is hilarious. Off a situational botch. Hey, it works. You got to have some luck sometime. The ball isn't round for a reason. Brian says he hopes Van Ginkel's back after the bye. I'm hoping a lot of people are back after the bye. Blake Cashman being number one, I think, is a biggie. George says timeout management was awful. Yes. Brian says Darisaw was out for the second half. He got taken out. He was supposedly reported to be on a pitch count, and that's why they took him out. Nothing. He's not hurt, though. Can't pick on a quarterback. Why can't we pick on a quarterback? I love picking on quarterbacks, opposing quarterbacks. SKOL, ready. Vikings, baby. You got that right. All right. I thought the fill-in center played well, all things considered. I did too. Blake Brandel did well. Other than the one call for holding, which I thought he got caught. Okay. He did well. He blew open the hole for Mason to run through at the end zone. That was good. What a fortunate win with our O-line playing poorly. Let's see, Steven. So much of the game. They played okay. And for being down 3/5 of the starters, I think they played pretty well. But that's just me. Now, speaking of just me, let's change this up. Let's bring in Darren. Darren, buddy, what did you think of this game and the comeback?
Well, comeback was great. Maybe a little bit unexpected by me, but with the way the offense had performed up to that point. But Drew Bunting, our our fellow 2L bloggers guy, I think it's Uncle Paulie. He has this. Drew's Uncle Paulie has this saying, which doesn't make sense, but does. Said a win's a win, even if it's off the ass of a cow. Mm-hmm. That win was really off the ass of a cow, but it's a win, I guess. Doesn't really leave me too enthused with the Vikings prospects going forward, as they like to say, but nice comeback drive. And I think you were just touching on the offensive line, and don't know what's going on with Darisaw. You mentioned that K-Fan said it was a snap count, but odd time to take him out of the game on a pitch count when you need a game-winning or game-tying drive, and you've got Walter Rouse playing left tackle. But that said, the Cleveland Browns front four, I was saying to you, like messaging on Messenger, I said about 2 or 3 drives before that, I said the Browns front four is taking this over. Like, they were getting all kinds of pressure on Wentz, and once Wentz gets pressure, I don't know what he's doing. He guys get around, and all of a sudden he's ducking down like this, not even keeping his eyes up in the field. That's a problem. But anyway, maybe he won't be starting after this game. But on that last drive, they held up quite nicely. I don't know what happened there, but I got to give them credit for that when you consider the only starter is Will Fries out there. Everybody else is a second stringer, or in Rouse's case,
worse.
Stringer.
Yeah, or worse. Well, and considering you talk about Rouse, consider Blake Brandel as well. He's the third string starting center.
And I'd be interested to see the PFF grades, but I bet you if the grades come out, he's going to be the highest graded offensive lineman that the Vikings had today.
Mm-hmm. We have from England right now, Jonas. How you doing, buddy? How was the end of the game? What did you think?
Oh, well, I would say let's make this quick because I don't understand any word you're saying, so I can't really engage in conversations right now. Yeah, I really didn't think this would happen anymore, especially after Darisaw went down. Really didn't think that they still had enough to overcome that. But yeah, that final drive was really, really good. Yeah, finally was definitely ugly, but they won it, so.
That's great. And we were told Darisaw went out on a pitch count. Not that he was hurt. And you can't hear us.
Again, I can hear you. It's way too loud here. I can't hear you.
All right. Well, cool. Glad you joined us. Any more thoughts? Obviously. Any more thoughts there, buddy? No. All right.
Hey, man, he's there.
He's there. He's live.
He's enjoying it.
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, London. Ended better than last week in Dublin.
I think there's a comment from old Kubler about Addison to Kwesi's first draft busts. He said the off the field issues have reached a breaking point. O'Connell will get asked what the deal was with Addison. My guess is that it was something like missed the team meeting or not something. If it was more serious than that, he wouldn't have been even dressed. I think so. Not that missing a team meeting or some sort of team function is a good thing, but I think as far as off the field issues, if that's what it ends up being, there's a lot worse stuff that Addison could be doing than that. That's not going to, and that doesn't make him a bust. He caught the game-winning touchdown today. I think it's pretty clear that he's a pretty good player. But yeah, can he keep his nose clean? He had been off the field up until today, as far as we know.
Anyways, Jonas, since you can't hear us, we're going to let you go, buddy. And I think he's frozen anyways. So.
And then somebody's talking about can't wait for Tyler to eviscerate the offensive line. I don't know if Tyler will. Yeah, they were bad at points, particularly Justin SKOL whiffed on a few, but I feel that was to be expected, that they were going to have some trouble with the Browns' defensive line. And the question was, could O'Connell and the Viking and Carson Wentz, could they come up with a game plan to negate that somewhat? I think they did at times in the first half. Then it wasn't working out so well for various reasons. And then in the last drive, they got it together again.
Look, I'm not going to criticize this offensive line at all. They deserve every single flower you can give them, considering what... Well, hold on. Just let me finish my thought here. Considering what they were dealing with, considering the fact that they entered the game with 3 backups starting, including a UDFA, and including your center, who had never played the position at the collegiate or NFL level. And then you lose Christian Darrisaw in the second half, and they put in that performance. I'm sorry. Incredible. You could not have asked for better considering the circumstances. And they get a ton of praise. I want to specifically shout out Blake Brandel, who, having never played center, there were no protection call busts. There were no bad snaps. And for that to happen with a guy who had only taken practice reps at the position in a major game was tremendous. Now, there were obviously warts on the offensive line, and you expected it. But considering who your opponent was, they shut out Mason Graham. Myles Garrett, his only real impact was getting around Darrisaw on a super wide rush and having to chase down Carson Wentz when he was escaping the pocket on the other side. You couldn't have asked for better from this group. And I thought KOC navigated the play calling really well in terms of trying to help them out by doing some more horizontal stuff, getting the ball out of Wentz's hands quicker. Now, Wentz still was a slow processor. You're just going to have to deal with that. That just is who he is. You're not changing that, especially 10 years into his career. But the final drive, I thought, was masterful. They navigated it really well. They used space in the secondary very well, getting like TJ Hawkinson on a couple of those spot routes, and then identifying and isolating Justin Jefferson against Denzel Ward and just being like, all right, Jefferson, make a play. And he does. And then that final pass where Denzel Ward is like baiting Carson Wentz to try and make that throw. And then he just does. And I think we forget, with all these negatives we talk about with Carson Wentz, he's got legit arm talent, and he showed it. And Jordan Addison, who was essentially suspended for the first quarter by the coaching staff, makes the game-winning play. And then right before that, the third down where they're in man coverage and they send Jordan Addison on that jet motion. And then it's just a quick throw to the flat for an easy 4-yard first down. Like, those kind of things make the game as easy as possible. And they probably shouldn't have won this game, but they found a way to win, and you got to win your clunkers. And this was a clunker, and they found a way to make it happen. So I think we should feel really good about this team and the fact that they won with this many injuries to key players. Because I'm going to be honest, like, this run defense is so bad because there's no Blake Cashman. We can talk about Harrison Phillips all we want. And yeah, and having guys like Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen 2 gap at 1 tack is bad process. You shouldn't be doing that. But having Blake Cashman in there fixes and fills so many holes that Eric Wilson's just a bad football player. I'm sorry. Like, get this guy off the field as soon as humanly possible, and hopefully Blake Cashman's back for the Eagles game. But
I wouldn't consider him bad, but he's a backup, and he's good at special teams. But now he's thrust into the hey, you got to lead the defense role, and that's never been his role.
Yeah, he should not be playing significant defensive snaps. There were multiple plays where I saw him out of position, over pursuing. And then when he had Judkins in pass coverage, Judkins just smokes by him, and he can't even get out to the flat. And all of a sudden, it's a quick 10-yard game. They made things way too easy at times for this Browns offense. And credit Kevin Stefanski. I thought he called a brilliant game. Dillon Gabriel's not a good quarterback, and he should not be starting in the NFL. But he did enough for him to make it easy and given those easy buttons that we've talked about for so long, that they were able to stay in the game and make things happen. And kudos to Stefanski. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL, even though the Browns record doesn't show it. They shouldn't have been that competitive in this game offensively, and they were. And that's a testament to the game plan they had and how they executed it.
Well, yeah. If you don't get Judkins killing our run defense, then a lot of that stuff, like Gabriel had up until that last drive. Gabriel had 17 completions, 17 for 25 or 18 for 25 for like 120 some yards. Like I think they had one catch by a wide receiver. So yeah, but things are easy for you, just like it was the last game for Rodgers, when your running back's getting 6-7 yards a pop every time he touches the fucking ball. And we're seeing this over and over and over now. So yeah, is Blake Cashman going to be Cashman will help. The question is, how soon is he coming back to help? I don't, hamstrings are tough ones, but we need him back desperately. And don't put LDR on the field like on obvious running downs and have him playing in the middle. He's too small.
The problem is they're having guys who should not be two gapping at one tech. And I think LDR is a fine run defender, but I think you kind of alluded to it, Darren. You can't, what they're asking him to do and what they're asking Hargrave and Allen to do, they're not built to do. And to me, that's the biggest problem. It's, you got to put your players in position to succeed. And I think you can kind of get away with it somewhat when you have players like Blake Cashman. Like, if they would have upgraded the other linebacker position from Ivan Pace, who I think is a good player, but he's more of a specialist. And if you would have upgraded that spot, then all of a sudden you're looking at, hey, I've got two guys who can alleviate a lot of that on the front of that offensive line or defensive line, excuse me. And they just don't have that right now. And I think that's a big factor here. Like, if you go ahead.
No, I cut in, Tyler. You go ahead.
If you don't have the guys to two gap, you have to have great linebackers behind them. And right now, the Vikings don't. The fact Ivan Pace is so good at what he does because he has Cashman to bail him out. Because when he decides that I'm going to point and shoot, Cashman can backfill and cover his ass when he misses. Like, that's one of the real nice parts about this defense is when they try to be that aggressive, they have players who can help them. Without Cashman, Eric Wilson can't do that. That is not in his game. So that in turn, I think makes a really big impact as well. Like, the Vikings run defense without Cashman has been bad. And I think it was, people were trying to paint it as like Andrew Van Ginkel. I'm like, look, Van Ginkel's a good run defender, but like Dallas Turner in for Van Ginkel has not been this huge drop off. It's because you don't have Cashman. And he might be the most important player on this entire defense, which is kind of odd to say because I think Grenard has a great case as well. But what you can do with Cashman from a versatility standpoint is just bonkers. And we need this guy back. We need him back bad.
I saw a stat this week saying last year when Cashman was out, the Vikings run defense gave up 2 yards more on runs per average than when he was in the game. And we don't know what those averages would be. Tough to determine this season because he only played like a half of a game so far. But yeah, he's a big one. I don't know what it is, but guys not getting off of blocks, but there's like 50 or 60% of the run plays. It's like things look jumbled up right in the middle. I think, the Vikings got him. They got him for a 1 yard, for a negative gain or no gain or 1 yard gain. And then all of a sudden the running back pops out and he gets 5 or 6 yards, or the pile gets pushed and they get 4 when they shouldn't have got any. I don't know what's going on there, but like you said, maybe we're not getting a linebacker coming in to clean up on those run plays when because the defensive linemen are occupied and can't get off the blocks, but you don't have Cashman in there to clean things up.
Yeah, Cashman is such an important player on this defense, and I miss him. I miss him a lot. But I do want to shout out Dallas Turner. I thought Turner had some really nice plays. He's just Anthony Barr now, where people are going to look at like the raw numbers, the sack numbers, and be like, oh, he's not really performing. And then all of a sudden you go and turn on the tape and he's just playing really solid football and doing a lot of things that make this defense special, being able to drop. He drops like he plays middle linebacker, and then he can rush the passer. And his efficiency in rushing the passer is really impressive. There's a lot of really good to his game, but his baseline floor has like doubled to where he's just playing solid football super consistently. Like, I think Turner, like, we're just going to keep talking about as a collective whole that, oh, they gave up too much for him. You have to isolate the trades. If you think giving up a 3rd and a 4th round pick was too much to move up for him, I respect that. That's fine. But they didn't trade up from 42 to 23 to get Dallas Turner. They did that and it was incorrect looking back because they misvalued the quarterback market at the time. But they wanted Drake May. That's why they made the move. They were trying to get a 2nd first round pick this year or that year in order to go get him. It didn't work. It happens. But they didn't make that move to go get Dallas Turner. That's asinine, and they'll tell you that themselves. So I think Turner was really good. And this defense continues to just figure out how to make it work, considering the dudes they have. I mean, they only allowed 17 points today. I think the offense put them in some rough spots at times, including that turnover where they allowed a touchdown. So it's one of the better units in the league for a reason, and they lost the turnover battle. I think we missed that too. Like, they lost the turnover battle and won the game. Something they haven't done a lot in KOC's tenure. 2-0
in the turnovers. And I was surprised to see they had a stat where they said the Vikings were 4th in defense in creating turnovers, but that's all been on one game, the Bengals game where we had 5 turnovers. Otherwise, I think the only other turnover we've created, and would you really call it one, was on the last play in the Bears game on the lateral stuff where Ward, they fumbled like the 15th lateral and Ward landed on at the end of the game. That's not a turnover. So basically the only turnovers the defense has created so far in this 5 games is against Cincinnati. And that's kind of the feast and famine of turnovers in the NFL with defenses, I think, too. Last year, the Vikings got a lot, but there's probably going to be some regression there. We're not quite getting them, but we're still keeping the team in the game despite the limitations that the offense is showing with Wentz at quarterback and the offensive line having a bunch of issues and, whatever's going on with Addison.
Now, Anthony asks, is Brandel our center for the rest of the year? I would think that would depend on Kelly. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Fine.
I don't think so. I think the second Juergens is back, he's going to be the starting center. I do think that it is a really nice thing to have that all of a sudden Brandel can play center, and maybe long-term, like, this gives you hope that, hey, maybe he can be the answer. But I think you're going to go back to the guy who has that experience. They love Juergens, and I think people don't necessarily remember that all the time. They're going to give Juergens the shot to be the guy. And I think, like, with signing some of these guys to, like, shorter term deals, they signed Javon Hargrave to a 2-year deal. They signed Ryan Kelly to a 2-year deal. The idea is, well, if we can get like a guy like Juergens to step up, we can move on from Kelly. If we get LDR and Jalen Redmond to step up, we can move on from Hargrave. Like, that's kind of what these deals are set. And then, you know what? If they perform, we'll just keep them and we'll have a surplus. It'll be great. So I liked what I saw from Brandel today, but if you can get the experienced center, even if Juergens doesn't have a ton of NFL experience, he has a ton of center experience. And that's going to matter the further on you get.
But Brandel just absolutely, he did well. I'd be surprised if, and I haven't looked, I should probably bring it up what PFF thought. But the way he blew open the hole on the goal line for
on the Mason touchdown, you mean?
Was just, it was a thing of beauty. It was pure power. And if the Vikings want to go to a more powerful run game, that to me seems like an easy answer. Now, he's a free agent after this year, if I remember correctly. But I think get him for relatively cheap. He's still young. He's developed, and he can play every position on the O-line. Maybe that helps him as a center. You talked about he didn't blow a call.
Yeah.
It all depends on whether KOC and the offensive staff, like, again, if they feel comfortable enough with Brandel with the small sample size compared to what they've seen from Juergens over 2 years being your backup center. And Juergens, when he has played, the grades have not been kind to him so far this season, but he's in his second year too. I kind of feel like what Tyler's saying is that this staff hasn't shown itself to really make that kind of if they've got somebody who's their backup or their starter, they need a little bit more data to make a change from that. And so I would be surprised if Juergens was healthy against Philly if you did not see him at center and Brandel's back to, at guard, backing up or playing if Jackson can't make it. Despite playing really well today, I thought. Really, really well.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. But I like his size. I like what he did. It also depends on what the quarterbacks think.
Yeah. I think Brandel was, I saw something. Brandel is the tallest center we've had since we had Randy Rasmussen in 1988 play at center.
Randy Rasmussen.
Yeah, I know. I recognize the name. I know he was an offensive lineman for us, but never played a whole lot.
I was going to say
center.
Cook.
Cook was right tackle, though. I don't think he ever played center.
They moved him to center for a couple games.
Yeah,
and he towered over everybody. It was odd.
I'm wondering if the size might be a deterrent for the Vikings wanting to keep Brandel long term at center, because it's not a good thing to be tall when you play center. You don't want to be too short, but you want to be able to. You have to win leverage, and winning leverage. That was something we talked about, Dave, last year when they wanted to move Blake Brandel into guard. It's like, really, you want to move a guy who's 6'7" into guard? That's a bold strategy, but it's worked. So will they want that at center, considering what they have in Juergens and considering hopefully Ryan Kelly comes back and can play it all the rest of the year? I think it'll be an interesting discussion point. And if Brandel has to start again at center, I think you can feel a lot more confident about it. But will they want to give him an opportunity to start again at center, I think is a much bigger question. Overall, like, good game from him. But
we know Kelly's out on IR. He was put on IR yesterday. It was put out there. So he's going to be out minimum 4 games. When is Juergens due back?
Theoretically, he could be back in 2 weeks. Update. Kevin O'Connell said Jordan Addison missed a walkthrough this week, and that's why he was benched for the first quarter today.
There you go.
Interesting.
That'll get you in trouble.
I figured it was something along those lines, because
hopefully he wasn't late because he was at a pub till 5 a.m. the night before. Anyway.
But they closed the pubs, or at least they used to close the pubs at a specific time. It would have had to have been a private event.
I'm sure Addison could get into those.
Because I remember we go to Spotted Cow, was our local pub. My pub, if you want to call it that. And they couldn't sell beer after something like midnight. 11 o'clock, midnight, whatever. But if the house was rocking, the owners would close the door and say, all right, we're going to continue. We couldn't purchase anything. But that didn't mean they stopped pouring. We had a good time. We went on later. There was no money exchange at that point in time. It was made up later.
Yeah. It feels good to be able to get a win there, but Man, this team needs to get healthy.
We needed it. If we want any hope for the playoffs, we needed it.
Mm-hmm. You can't keep living like this. And I want to reiterate, just like good play calling is such a different thing than good execution. So I still see a lot of people saying, oh, KOC is a bad play caller. Well, I don't think so. I think he's been on a heater. You can put players in position to succeed and know that they have the capability of succeeding. And if they don't, that doesn't mean it's a bad play call. If you're asking them to run a ton of vertical concepts without an offensive line that can block, that is poor play calling. They didn't do that here. They did that when they had to on like 3rd and 12, but they weren't doing that on like 1st down. They were very calculated in how they took their shots, which I think has been a huge growing point for Kevin O'Connell, because he hasn't really done that in the past. Like, I hope as a collective whole, because I know like the three of us we're pretty even keel about the play calling stuff. Wait until you get answers to the question before you start claiming things, because I don't know. I don't see how you can look at this game and be like bad play calling. It was. Kevin O'Connell did not call fumbles. He didn't.
And he doesn't call when there is a bit of pressure that Wentz starts putting his head into his stomach and goes into the fetal position and doesn't keep his eyes downfield, which I saw at least 4 times today.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a guy who's 32 years old and has played in the league for 10 years doing that.
Anthony, the fumbling was, I think, for the second one, I don't think the ball was fully secured. First one was punched out.
Yeah, the Xavier Scott one, there were 2 defensive tackles up on his ass.
Yeah,
and
as soon as
that was one of the big, this didn't work, we got bitched plays, and it just happened to be as Scott was trying to secure the ball, they got a hand in there before it was fully done, and it was a fumble.
Now,
I wonder almost if he, because they hit him high, kind of around the head, and I almost wondered if he got kind of his bell rung a little, because we didn't see him after that.
Not to say the C word. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you talk about play calling. There was a play I even commented to Tyler, and Tyler and I don't talk during the game. So we come at it totally separately. Mm-hmm. That I thought was absolutely beautiful, and it was the play right before Brandell blew open the open hole and Mason ran it in. You remember what that was, Tyler?
No. The Oliver play.
Where the whole line went left, Oliver, and Wentz rolled out to the right. Wentz threw it to Oliver, and they got a shoestring tackle on Oliver at about the 3. But the play call was magnificent.
Yeah, Denzel Ward just shot the gap. Sorry, I don't like waking up at 8:30. I wake up at like 9:30 every day. So the fact that I had to get up early, college football, I'm always up to like 1
I was
a.m.
up at 5.
Yeah. Well, you're built different. You're a military man, Dave. You're used to that.
Yes.
So yeah, Ward just made a great play. And sometimes you can have the right play call, but we have to remember the defense gets paid too. And Ward earned his money on that because he shot it. He got a tackle against the 280-pound behemoth tight end. And Denzel Ward is like 195 and 5'10". He ain't big.
Well,
so
he made sure he grabbed his leg.
Oh yeah. He grabbed his leg, held on, and I think he even rolled a little bit, but not like a dirty gator roll. Just tried to get him down, and he did. Oh, he got some help at the end, but he had him dead to rights. So it was good stuff.
But I thought the play call was absolutely brilliant. It would have worked 9 times out of 10 every time, and it was just, I liked it.
Yeah, I thought KOC did a very good job of doing what we all felt they needed to do, which was, we can't have Wentz holding the ball very long. He's got to get the ball out quickly. They got to have answers, particularly on short stuff. And they tried to do that. There was times where they couldn't do that. Sometimes it happens. Your first down run doesn't get any yardage. You're in second and long, third and long. That happens to every offense. Drives during the game, and then you have to take your time. But I thought that the offensive game plan was, it made sense. They did what I think they need to do in a lot of cases. Some circumstances didn't allow them to stick with the short game or the running game, and that happens sometimes. And you just have to deal with it, knowing that you don't really have a great offense that you're facing on the other side of the ball. And it ended up working out for us, even when it looked like it wasn't going to until the last 30 seconds.
Yeah. Man, it was good to get away.
Yes, it was. And now we're going to bye week.
Yeah. And we went 2-1 with their backup quarterback, which I think is close to, would have been better to go 3-0, but I think that's not a bad position to be. Like Tyler said, and like I said earlier, I don't really feel too enthused about the win over, particularly the level of opposition we played. But you're 3-2. You're going to be better than probably 40-50% of the league record-wise after today is over.
Mm-hmm. And you talk about the level of competition. We're going against number one defense. So,
but then like the 29th or 30th ranked offense.
Yeah. Hey, so. Hey, they scored, which is not a testament to Brian Flores calling this game how it went. There was question marks, but it worked out.
Question mark is the run defense, and that's been kind of the theme through the first 5 games. And Cashman, we hope, was going to help a lot when he gets back in there. And maybe there's some other things they can do. They don't seem to be interested in getting Taimani dressed. I'm not saying he'd make a big difference, but he is a wide body that maybe you could use to spell those guys, and he might occupy blockers, but they're not going that way. So they'll have to figure out other ways to alleviate it. Ginkgo coming back, I think, would help too, not up the middle, but I think overall with your defense, you want an excellent player playing, and that's going to help you overall.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have the bye, and we can rest and relax, and hopefully the Vikings will start healing, and we'll get a bunch of these guys back afterwards, because they will be needed, because after the bye, we head into our gauntlet portion of the season. And hopefully we get J.J. McCarthy back, and he's flipped a switch and stays healthy, and let's rock and roll.
And that's going to be the talking point for the next 10 days or so. Is JJ healthy? And if he is, KOC is going to get peppered with questions about, are you sticking with Wentz or are you going with McCarthy? So it'll be interesting to see how he dances around, dances with those questions, and whether he sticks with he's got to get fully healthy first, and we'll see about that. That's probably how he'll attack it. But I'm interested to see what the end result of that is going to be when they do play Philly. And I guess we'll find out.
Who was disappointed that Brosmer didn't start the second half?
You were.
I know I was.
I was getting excited to see Brosmer. I'm very intrigued to kind of see what he can do in a real situation. But we didn't get that chance, and I think that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I don't necessarily know that he's ready. And like we saw with like Jaren Hall, if you put them in a position where they can just go up and absolutely completely shit the bed, it doesn't matter what kind of potential there is, it can just ruin it. And I think that happened with Hall's career with that Packers game, and you could have done the same thing here if you had to have played him. So little things.
I feel, it very well could have been the way. I look at how Gabriel played today, though, and I know he was drafted and Brosmer wasn't, but they've got kind of similar careers in that they were in college a long time, through a lot of reps, and I know Brosmer's was mostly at University of New Hampshire, not Div 1, and Gabriel didn't look overwhelmed today by what was happening. Now, it might have been different if they couldn't have got the running game going, but I kind of felt, I was talking to Dave about this, maybe Brosmer with his experience can be he can play like Gabriel did in that game and not look like it's too big for him. It would have been interesting to see if he had played for sure. I feel decent that he wouldn't have looked overwhelmed, that the offense still would have been able to function and move the ball with him in there. But we'll never know.
We'll never know. Peter says McCarthy might be hurt himself. His shoulder looked pretty wrapped up in the locker room.
Oh, he meant Wentz. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's supposed to be Carson
run he
Wentz,
had
McCarthy. Okay, Peter, you're giving me a heart attack there, buddy.
That run he had at the end of the second quarter, he got hit pretty hard right here. So it's probably a bruised collarbone, a bruised shoulder, and obviously wasn't enough to keep him out, because if it was broken, they
probably the only one that saw in the pregame warmups on NFL Network, they showed him and Brosmer standing side by side throwing balls. He threw a ball, and then he took his left arm and did this number. And I go, is he hurt? And that's the same shoulder he went out for and probably got some sort of shot or whatever and returned. I wonder if he's got something lingering.
Well, last week you noticed, Dave, that there was times where it looked more like it was a rib thing.
I thought it was a rib when he come up and he grab his side.
He was bothered by something last week a few times too. Didn't miss any time, and so maybe this is totally different, but maybe it's related. But he's taken some shots lately, so. Hey.
Well, playing quarterback for the Vikings is not the safest occupation in the world.
No, not with this offensive line, the way it's constructed right now.
Anyways, what do we got tomorrow night there, Tyler?
No, I'm hoping to get the All-22 pretty quick so I can watch it before we go live. But we're going to talk about this game. We're going to talk about some of the big themes from it. And then I think Thursday we'll have a kind of more of a broad discussion about where this team sits going into the bye week and what big picture themes that we can take and how they need to kind of course correct on others. Yeah, we're going to have some really interesting stuff this week.
And for SKOLing, our X's and SKOLs, can you and Luke do a first, 5 games eval?
I'm sure we can do something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That one might wait, and that one might wait until next week because there will be no game to talk about that week. But we'll have some interesting stuff lined up.
Okay. And he should be back, hopefully, for this week.
Yeah. I'm guessing he'll be in London for just a little longer and then move on from
back. Nice vacation for him.
Yeah, he got to see 2 relatively solid games and got to see a win. That's always a good thing.
I got to see Ireland and London. I think it's cool.
The Vikings are now 5-0 playing games in London, by the way.
Yes.
I thought that unbeaten streak was going to get
11 or now 12-1 overseas total. Mm-hmm. That includes the preseason matchups back in the 80s.
It'll be a good flight home for the boys.
I don't think it's 12. I think it's 9-1, Dave, because I think they only had 4 matchups overseas in the preseason, and then they've had 6 in the regular season.
I remember more, but I could be wrong. Been wrong before. But
hey, you're better at admitting that than my wife is, so good for you.
Oh, you'll learn. All right.
I've already learned. Don't you worry about that.
Trust me, there's more coming. All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody that joined us today. You guys absolutely rock. Doug, and Freddie. We've had, who else has been in here? Sean has been in here. Too Evil to Hope. We've had Purple and Gold Bars is in here. Disgusting Act. You guys have absolutely rocked today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Watch some football games. I will be on later tonight recording for a podcast, Fans First Football Show, and we will watch how the rest of this day goes. Who gets to win and who doesn't. The only other team playing in the division is the Detroit Lions. Everybody else is on bye. So,
well, I think the only question is, do the Lions win by 30 or 40 in that game?
Who knows? All right. Gentlemen, what do we say?
SKOL Vikings, baby.
SKOL Vikings. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And share this episode with your friends and even your enemies. We'd love it. Thanks for watching Vikings First and SKOL. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and we appreciate each and every one of you. SKOL.